Alright. Adjusting. Continuing to adjust. Working on it. Beep, boop, beep. Beep, boop, beep. Alright, so. Okay, game needs to be restarted now. All sorts of technical difficulties. Welcome to a Mr. McGaming stream, where we have to try about 15 times to get it right. Much better. Much better. Alright, so this is a beginner's guide. Unlike my other video on how to make a build, this will be purely how to get through most of the game very easily.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, so here's what you're going to want to do. Put in whatever name you want. So I'm just going to go with Meh. Because, you know, terrible movie reference. Gender, whatever you want. Age, whatever you want. And then I would 100% for your first playthrough go with Knight. Because unlike the first game, Knight can mid-roll from the beginning of the game in this game. So, I would 100% recommend going with Knight for your first class. You get a fast attacking weapon, a 100% blocking shield, and some very good armor, and still mid-roll. So, Burial Gift, it's like my previous stream. You definitely want to go with the Sovereign's Soul, you can honestly get whatever you want due to preference, but I'm going to explain why you don't want some of these. So, for the Life Ring, it gives you 100% barely diminishing returns. And the blessings, they give you one of them, I'm pretty sure, and I've never selected them personally, but you can heal up outside your Estus Flask, but you will also have trouble with the fact that you can still die even if you heal, and they're single-use items. Same thing with the Hidden Vessling. The Fire Bombs are good for the first boss, but I haven't really found much use for them otherwise. Fire Gem, it's not as good as Raw Gem in the long run, because less enemies, the enemies block both fire and regular damage instead of just blocking regular damage. And obviously the Fire Gem is a single-use item. Sovereign's Soul is what I usually go with. It just gives you a few extra levels in the beginning of the game. And then Rusted Gold Coin, that just helps you get items a bit more. I'm going to be selecting that for the purpose of this video. And then Red Eye Orb and Young White Branch are basically multiplayer items, so. Alright. I'm just going to go with my regular old build that I always use. And then we're done. Right, so this isn't going to be like the last video where I speedrun to get a weapon. This is going to be playing through the game like a casual player would. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, go ahead, do what you'd normally do. I'd keep the shield out for a beginning player. This blocks 100% of the damage, this specific shield. So I'd definitely be using this a lot in my first playthrough. The weapon does good damage and it attacks very quickly. So definitely stick with that for, the foreseeable future. Um, so we're going to run back here and grab this item. And after that, we're going to run forward here. So just follow the basic path that I'm following. Some of the areas in this area are redundant, so I would definitely recommend not going through them. Unlike my previous video, we are not going to be killing the crystal lizard. This is a beginner's guide, and that is a bit too difficult, I believe. I'm not trying to demean anyone. However, I do think that that is relatively difficult, even at my skill level, which is still not the best. But I have had some experience in this game, so we will be working off of that and helping you to understand what is going on here. So I definitely grab the items in this area. That's called a parry and riposte. The parry is the bit where you use the shield, and the riposte is the bit where you stab them. In order to do that, you press left trigger to parry if you've got a parrying shield, and then you press right bumper to riposte. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go down here. And we're going to grab these fire bombs. Like I said, the black fire bombs do a bit more damage at the beginning of the game. However, they are not amazing. I would definitely not recommend choosing them because they are very rare. You will get some at the beginning of the game, which will help you with the first boss. So if you do find yourself having a bunch of trouble with the first boss, possibly use the black fire bombs. But I do not recommend them, personally, in the long run. The reason I usually choose the Sovereign's Soul, which I would recommend, but I only chose the golden coins for the sake of this video, in order to make the video shorter and much easier to watch. So we're actually going to go ahead and run back up here again, because I missed an item. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold the run button, which is B as standard, and then you want to when you get right to the edge, you're going to want to press the left trigger in order to jump. And right here is a good item. It's called a Titanite Shard. Those will be able to level up your weapons specifically. I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible. So this is the first boss. This is called Eudex Gundyr. And you want to remove the sword from his chest when you're ready. And my main strategy here is keep rolling and stay behind him. Roll to the side, keep moving in one direction. So when he does that attack with his arm, you're going to want to roll to the side and keep rolling sideways in order to dodge it. And now, as you can see, I've defeated him relatively easily. If you've got the correct technique down, which will take quite a few tries, I had an incredible amount of difficulty with him my first try. But you will be able to get him eventually, so don't feel discouraged. So we're just going around here. There's actually an item over here in case you haven't seen it. So this item is a soul. or homeward bones, sorry. Homeward bones are very useful. They allow you to go back to the bonfire whilst holding onto your souls and ember. They do take a while to cast, but they are very useful in some situations. So we're just going around and grabbing everything. There's an ember over to this side here. Watch out right around this corner here. There's a dog, and they are very difficult in this game for regular enemies. So just make sure to block him. When he tries to attack you, it'll stagger the enemy. And then you'll make sure to attack as quickly as you can after that. So over to the left side of the shrine here, there is a pair of enemies. You're going to want to kill them before picking up this item, because this item causes the enemies to aggro if you get too close to the item. So both of them will attack you at the same time. So it's best to just pluck them off one by one before picking up the item. So over here there's another homeward bone. And now we're going to do something that I would not recommend. So, but it is kind of helpful for a beginner player if you are having trouble. What you're going to want to do is spend all your souls.
Well, I go to then.
So we're going to put 16 into dexterity.
Farewell, Ashen One.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to double hand our shield. And you do that by holding Y down. By default is to switch to double handing. In order to double hand your secondary weapon or your shield, you would hold down the Y button in order to do that. If you just tap the Y button, you double hand your sword. So what we're going to do is we're going to run over to the left-hand side of the shrine. And we're going to basically lure this enemy up here off the cliff. It can take a couple tries, as I've just demonstrated. So basically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold your shield, you're going to block with it, and you're going to attempt to lure the enemy into doing his dashing attack. And hopefully he will fall off with you. If he doesn't, don't feel discouraged, continue to do such. So this fog wall appears here in the shrine when you die or teleport to the shrine. That is because it is a loading save, because you will be returning to the shrine multiple times during the game. It saves loading times. So once you see it get a little bit of a change, then you can run through it. And that will appear each time you die at the shrine. Alright, so he's gone down with us. So that is what we want to happen. Now you may be thinking, why did we just do that? We didn't get anything from it. Well, here's what you don't know, or might know, considering your level of not intelligence, your level of experience with the game. So we've attacked this guy. And he's fallen off. So you may think, why did we do that? We aren't getting any souls, we aren't getting anything. Well, however, he does drop items, but you'd think they'd be in the pit. But every time you die, any special items that are dropped by an enemy will reappear where the enemy would regularly spawn. So now we have a special weapon called the Yuchanga. It's a dexterity scaling weapon. It's a katana for anyone who likes katanas. And you can go ahead and wield it however you want. I find it a bit plebeian to use it with a shield, so I'm going to de-equip my shield. But I would recommend using the shield for your first playthrough, so I am going to be doing that just for demonstration's sake. So one thing I forgot to mention about the Eudex is he is weak to fire. So those fire bombs that you grabbed down there or so, you are going to want to throw them at the Eudex. And you can lock onto him with the right stick and allows you to walk in circles around him or throw item or walk towards him directly. So you are going to want to use these fire bombs on the Eudex. They are very helpful against him. They do about 100 and some odd damage per attack. So, here's what you're gonna do, okay? I had trouble with this my first playthrough. It could just be that I'm dumb. That is a very, very big possibility. But you're going to want to press travel. It's the first option that pops up. And you're going to want to click on the High Wall of Lothric, because that is the first location you're heading to. And you're going to be using this travel mechanic a lot during the gameplay. But I could not figure this out the first time I played the game. This is how you do it. And that's how you get to the first area in the game. Okay, so now that we're at the High Wall of Lothric, we're going to want to run down here and get this bonfire. Bonfires are used to not save your progress, but save your character, basically. You will respawn at the last bonfire you touched. And when you rest at them, it refills your health and your health potion called an Estus Flask. So first thing we're going to do is we're not going to want to go this direction yet. We're going to want to go down here. This is a little bit hidden, but this is the direction that you want to head. So I would recommend as fast as you can, kill this enemy. And then kill this enemy with a running attack. Don't let it finish screaming, because if it does, it'll aggro a couple enemies in the area and you'll have to deal with them. Sadly, we're gonna have to cut this stream short.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he can get you with the video. He was creating